Fortnite just dropped the new trailer and it looks insane. We have mythics and new medallions coming to the game. We have a new item where it's a shotgun and an SMG you carry at the same time. We have snipers coming back, a whole bunch of map changes. The train now has turrets on it. I'm going to talk about everything, whether I think it looks like a good season, and maybe point out some Easter eggs you guys missed. But first, I want to kick off today's video talking about how Mongraal and Mr. Savage have officially split and will no longer be playing trios together. Now, I know I just made a video saying that Savage and Mongraal are not splitting. It's an impression farm. Mongraal's just going away on holidays for a little bit and there's looking for one player for that holiday. I could not have been more wrong. Savage and Mongraal are officially splitting up. I was completely wrong. It is not an impression farm. Now, this is not because Mongraal's quitting, though. Mongraal is still going to keep competing in Fortnite, but Panzer and Savage are looking for a third to play trios the rest of the year with. Mongraal's going to go and find his own trio. Now, this has all been broken down on Savage's Twitch stream. He has the VOD still up if you want to go watch his reasonings on it. But to sum it up, basically, him and Panzer are really motivated right now. They really want to go to globals. They're grinding super hard, and Mongraal just wasn't playing as much this season. Savage said he doesn't hold it against him. He's not mad at him. He kind of knows, what Mongraal's situation is. He's got a lot of things going on, apparently. Didn't really say exactly what, but he's got a lot of things going on behind the scenes and he just can't devote himself enough to the game for what Savage wants right now because he really wants to pop off. So they're going to try and find a third, and Mongraal's going to have to find his own team. Now, Mongraal hasn't really made a statement on this. I don't think he will for a little bit because, as I said in yesterday's video, he's going on holidays now to Zimbabwe for like a week or a week and a half. So I guess when he gets back, we'll find out. But everyone's looking, who is Savage and Panzer going to play with? Now, there are so many options here. I'm not even going to try and sit here and talk about, a bunch of people I think they could pick. Really, honestly, anyone. They're both going to be speaking English. Both of them played phenomenally well this grand finals. Panzer has had the second most amount of damage done of any player in grand finals in a team that came 8th. They didn't even make that many end games, and he was IGLing. Like, Panzer's stocks are up right now. Everyone knows Savage is crazy. I do think they're going to be able to find a solid third. They even started doing interviews on stream. They interviewed Rezon, and Rezon was pleading his case for why he would make a good third. So they're going to have solid options, but I'm not going to, in this video, talk about all the different people they could play with because there's gonna be a lot. This isn't like, a team that only speaks like, Italian or something, and it really limits the pool of people they can play with. If they're gonna speak English, there's a lot of good players they're gonna play with. Now, Mongraal, on the other hand, I'm a little bit worried about. Mongraal, now that he's been, dropped technically, or a mutual split, and Savage has said the reason is because he's not trying that hard, he's not playing that much, that's gonna make it really hard for Mongraal to find a good teammate. It's just Savage being honest. I'm sure Mongraal knows this as well. He's not trying to hide it. He said on stream himself after grand finals, he thinks that Savage and Panzer could have done better if they were playing with someone of their skill. He was saying that he knows he's not as good as them right now. So we'll have to see who Mongraal ends up with. I hope he ends up with a really solid trio who he can grind with and, get solid placements and really enjoy it. But I'm a little bit worried this could be the start of the potential, fade out of Mongraal that we've seen in the past. He's got a lot of other things going on he's really excited about. He might potentially struggle to find a solid trio right now if he's not consistently making finals. I don't know how, fun that's going to be for him. I hope I'm wrong, but I guess we'll have to see. But I'm really excited to see how both of them go apart. But it's truly the end of an era. And no, this is not an impression farm. This is 100% real. Now, let's talk about the trailer for the new season. If you guys didn't see it, Fortnite have officially dropped the trailer, which is kind of crazy. The new season isn't starting now. You guys haven't missed it. Don't worry. It's starting at 2 a.m. ET on the 21st. That's when downtime starts. Again, it'll probably last the usual 4 to 5 hours, and then you'll be able to jump in and play. Hopefully, I'll be live for the whole downtime, twitch.tv/Aussie Antics, or I'll actually be live on YouTube for the first time for a downtime if you guys want to check that out. It's going to be a fun time, but let's talk about what's in the trailer and do I think it's going to be a good season. Now, a lot of people have responded to this with mixed feelings. We're getting a kind of like, vault heist season. It's a theme we've had before, but it's usually a fun season. It does lead to mythics, which is, a bit of an issue for competitive sometimes. I'll get to that in a second, but overall the sentiment's mixed because it does look a little bit crazy. It looks like there's a bunch of explosives. We have our first look at the new mobility item. It's called the rocket drill. It's kind of like the rocket ram, which wasn't a lot of people's favorite mobility. We have the mammoth pistol. We have sniper rifles. We have this shotgun SMG pistol thing where you're holding 2 guns at the same time. There are medallions. There's a pickle medallion. The train got upgraded. It now has like turrets on it and a bunch. There's a bunch of crazy stuff. I'm going to break down as much as I know and give my thoughts as we go. First off, the weapons. Now, the new shotgun SMG thing kind of confuses me. I don't really know how this is going to work. I can't imagine it can be stronger than a shotgun or stronger than an SMG because you're combining them into one item. So I imagine it has to be a slightly weaker shotgun with a slightly weaker SMG, but it's in one slot. But for the most part, you can really carry a shotgun and an SMG in your loadout if you really want to. It could have some cool uses. Resub was cooking up some crazy ideas in the timeline about how it could be some crazy, like, break the wall with the SMG and then instantly pre-fire with a shotgun, some cool tech like that. So I'm interested to see how it plays out. I don't really know exactly how this is going to work until we get our hands on it. I'm guessing this shotgun is going to replace the Oni shotgun. I'm guessing we're probably going to have pump shotgun, the auto shotgun, and then this shotgun. I'm also saying that because we know we are getting the pump shotgun. Again, it's in the actual video as well, so don't worry, the pump shotgun is staying. You're not going to have to use this weird shotgun of whatever it is. The other one is the mythics. I'm not a huge fan of mythics anymore, especially for competitive. For ranked and pubs, whatever, they're fun. It gives you a cool POI to fight over. I love fighting over vaults. I know some people hate it because, people camp them in the vault and it's super cringe. I find it really fun trying to get in, get the good loot, and get out. But in competitive, especially when you think about the fact that we've just had one season, so on EU and NA, there's 2 teams that are qualified for LAN. When you have drops that have really, really overpowered items at them, no one's really going to fight over them because the 2 LAN teams are just going to claim them. Because if you drop on them and you fight them, you're basically griefing yourself because you have everything to lose and they don't. Yeah, they're going to want money from FNCS, but they've already made LAN. So if you're going to try and contest them in grand finals, they're just going to make sure you don't qualify. They don't have to play to win the game. They just have to play to make you lose. So when there's really overpowered drops, it doesn't create these fun kind of engagements. It doesn't create like really cool fights where, you have to take on 2 other teams, but if you get out with the item, you get to win, and that's worth the risk. It's going to play out mostly like it did with the scan medallion and the dash medallion, where Peterbot just got it, no one fought them for it, and they broke world record points. So I'm hoping that's not the case. We haven't seen any crazy mythics in here just yet. It does look like this new version of Midas is carrying this crazy shotgun that looks like a dragon's breath shotgun. We also do have the pickle medallion. I don't know how strong that's going to be, but mythic POIs in general, I do think have kind of gotten a little bit stale, especially in solo cash cups as well. You're just really giving the best player in the lobby an already insane advantage above what they already had. Like, yeah, if you're the best player and you drop 10 kills, you should have a good shotgun, a good AR, but I don't really like that the best player in the lobby has this other insane thing that makes it even harder to beat them on top of that. I don't think it's good for the game for casuals, and even good for the game competitively. Just my thoughts, but we'll see how that one plays out. Now, the rocket drill, some people are saying it's not going to be like the rocket ram. You're going to like drill under the ground and like come out and then pop up. I don't know how that would work. That sounds like a bit of a nightmare, but I imagine it will have some kind of like drilling through walls idea because you're drilling into the vault. But you can see in the key art at the end of the trailer, there is someone flying through the sky with it, just like the rocket ram. It's not my favorite mobility item. I think in trios, it's going to be extremely chaotic, having 3 people slamming through boxes, flying through the air, trying to stick with your team will probably be a bit of a nightmare, but I'm hoping it's not going to be the only mobility item. This map is amazing, but it is massive. With these ARs, especially getting beamed across the really huge open areas, we're going to need more than 1 mobility item, or if we are, it's going to have to be really strong. Like, we just had the masks, Typhoon blades, and kinetic blades, and it still sometimes didn't feel like enough. So we'll have to see how that one goes as well. We do have some new POIs on top of that. It's not all just mythic POIs. We have the Gold Mine, Crime City, and Baron's Mansion apparently as 3 of the new POIs, but we are losing quite a few POIs. We're losing Warriors Watch, Night Shift Forest, Twinkle Terrace, and Lazy Lake. So it looks like we're losing even more POIs than we're gaining. We might get some other small changes around the map as well, which could change it potentially on top of that. Snipers back in the game and mammoth pistols. That's usually one that's going to upset some people. I don't mind it for one big reason. It's really, really good for stopping surge trading. If you follow competitive at a high level, surge trading is always a big issue. Players sitting on top of their base, tagging another player, doing damage and taking damage back, but there's no real fear of actually fighting each other, and there's no real threat of being knocked, and even if you are knocked, you're so far away they don't usually push. But when you've got snipers and mammoth pistols in the game where you can put 180 damage or 200 damage straight into someone's dome, people are a lot more careful about who they peek and how they get their damage. That's why Chapter 5 Season 1 was such a fun fighting meta. If you remember, the start of Chapter 5 was one of the most beloved competitive metas because it wasn't a bunch of people just sitting in huge towers tagging across the map. It was like, running around with a grapple blade, hitting a headshot snipe, pushing them, sniping them in the open. It was really, really fun. I know some people don't like one-shot headshot snipes. I get it. It's a very frustrating way to end your tournament, but especially in trios, not as much of an issue. Now that you can double res, or one of your teammates can hold builds, the other one can res, I don't think one-shot headshots will be as frustrating, but I do think they actually add a really good competitive level to the game. I like that it looks like the train is getting a significant rework. The train has been a very big missed opportunity in my opinion. It does drop the mythic AR this season, so that's kind of good. At least it has some value, but overall it's just never really felt like it's that big big of a factor. Some people are saying the train looks too crazy now. It's got turrets on. It's going to be a nightmare. Oh, it looks terrible. It's like the, it's like wrecked season. Just avoid it then. If you don't like the train, you can just avoid it. It doesn't really, it doesn't make its way around the map that much. It doesn't really like, break through end games if someone's on the turret shooting people at high ground. It's kind of like, if you don't want to deal with the train, just don't drop on the train. And if you see it coming, maybe just avoid it or just don't jump onto it. I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. It's kind of like if you want to fight for it, hopefully it now gives you some solid loot and it's harder to fight over, but you can actually get inside it now and run through it, which could be kind of cool to play around with that idea. As far as the rest of the trailer, we got to see like explosives. I don't think we're going to see C4s or any kind of crazy explosives in competitive for the most part. That doesn't concern me too much. There's a bunch of new vehicles. Again, I don't think they're going to be in competitive either, so I'm not too worried. There is a Sub-Zero mythic from Mortal Kombat, and for some reason there's rumors that it's going to function like the Nitro Fists. I don't really know exactly how that's going to work. I don't know if that will be in competitive. It seems like the kind of mythic that would just be in pubs and ranked is kind of just one of those like Kamehameha, like, Dragon Ball Z or like the Jujutsu Kaisen. Like a lot of the anime style ones aren't really in competitive. There does look to be new assault rifles as well, so I don't know which assault rifle we're going to lose. Maybe we will lose the Hollow Twister AR. The only weapon we see with the scope on in the trailer, unless I'm wrong, is the sniper rifle. So we might have new assault rifles, which I know a lot of people wouldn't be too mad about. It looks like we have new mobility to get under the map where you can kind of go through these tunnels on these kind of grind rails, which could be really cool to get around the map a little bit quicker. I kind of hope that the shotgun Midas is holding is some kind of like double barrel, really hard hitting shotgun, because if you guys have been a fan of like my content for a while now, like chapter 2, I love the Dragon's Breath. I was one of those boomers who just really, really likes one hard-hitting solid shotguns. It's not most people's favorite, but I think in competitive especially, it's a cool little flexi item you can pull out. But across the board, I'm pretty happy about the trailer. Now, I always tell people, don't put too much hate or love into the trailer. I've seen trailers that I absolutely love that have turned into some of the worst seasons, and I've seen trailers that looked pretty mediocre that turned into phenomenal seasons. So don't watch the trailer and think, oh, the season's terrible, or oh my god, it's the best season of all time. Give it a chance. Just wait. I do find it interesting that Fortnite is now releasing trailers days out from the new season. I guess they're just sick of it being leaked and they just want to post it themselves, which is kind of cool. I'm all here for it. I hope we do still get all the blog posts going live as soon as downtime happens as well, because that's been really, really awesome trend going forward. But this is one of the first seasons, I think, in almost Fortnite history where I'm not ready to leave it. I've loved this season. I've truly enjoyed it from a competitive standpoint, from just a casual standpoint. It seems to be one of the most well-received seasons, and I will say we have a bit of a history of this. I would say chapter 3, 4, 5, and 6, season 1s, the first season of every chapter, has probably been the best, if not unarguably the best. So I'm kind of scared to see if we continue that trend and the next season isn't as good, but I mean, I got to give him credit. Since we've had the new creative director come along, things are looking really, really good. I hope we get another banger season.